Hey, welcome to the Mindset with Mary podcast. I'm your host, Mary, your go-to life coach and mindset mentor, here to help you start living more authentically and start believing in yourself so that you can not only just reach your goals, but live a happy and successful life. And here's the thing, when it comes to reaching your goals, you have got to be all about it. Because if you're not, and if you don't see the value that you bring to the table, then no one else is. And that's why I love showing up here every week, because I want you to believe in yourself more today than ever before. And if I can just share one little piece of wisdom that can help you start to shift those limiting beliefs and help you start to see how amazing you truly are, then I'm living in my purpose, and that is what this is all about. And I'm so excited for today's episode because it's all about how to be more successful. And when I talk about success, I don't just mean the grind and just getting the goals. I mean the real deal. Success is not success without fulfillment. So I'm talking about the real thing. I'm talking about how to be more successful while enjoying life more. But before we really dig in today, I want to remind you about my absolute favorite thing to do in the world, which is getting to coach my amazing clients. So I want to announce to you the Manifestation Blueprint program, which is my one-on-one mentorship designed to help you stop doubting yourself, designed to help you stop overthinking the process and stop feeling like you're constantly running on a treadmill. Stop feeling like you're constantly the hamster going in circles to reach your goals and never actually reaching them. Or maybe you do reach them, but it always feels too hard and overwhelming. And the brain steps in and starts to tell you, no, you can't. So if you're that girl who knows you are meant for more, who keeps being pulled, your soul keeps pulling you forward, and you constantly feel like you're not quite capable or worthy of actually following through, this is what this program is designed for. I'm going to show you the exact steps to overcome the negative self-talk and really start trusting yourself to take your intuition to the next level by actually listening to it and feeling confident enough to know that it's going to work instead of listening to everyone else around you and letting that consistently lead you down the wrong pathway and finding yourself back on the hamster wheel, not enjoying life. And once we start getting your mind on board, then we really start working with the emotions. Because those thoughts that you used to think and now you're starting to shift, the energy of those are probably still there. You've probably been holding onto them for a long time. And so this is where you start to release them and grow your capacity for the more that you are absolutely capable of. See, the thing is that a lot of times we're letting our emotions run the show. And that's like letting our toddlers drive the car. You're not going to get far. You're taking action that is so much more reactive than responsive. And so once you learn how to process those emotions, you get to take the steering wheel of life and you get to be the leader. You get to decide what happens next. And then you get to start being more consistent and productive without burnout. And I teach you the energetics of making time work for you instead of you constantly feeling like you don't have enough time. I just got to catch up. And I show you exactly the time management system that I use to overcome my distractive ADHD brain and really start to get shit done. And not like just the busy things, but like the things that actually push you forward. Because I'm sure you've been there. When you find yourself sweeping the floor the second time after you've already swept it today, and you're like, wait a second, have I even worked on my goals? Did I even get my workout in for the day? No, because I swept the floor like a million times. because I'm obsessing over it. And I got to do this. And then, oh my gosh, there's laundry. And then my kids are doing this. And this program really helps you learn how to have the structure to not only stay in flow with your intuition, but allow you to have both the masculine and feminine energy. And then the most important part of my program is I teach you how to stay aligned and authentic with your deepest desires. And instead of just letting that motivation fizzle out over and over and over again, you learn how to create this beautiful wildfire burning deep within you that's unstoppable and unshakable and fully alive. And then you really start to step into having fun. And then you're not burning yourself out anymore because you're learning how to have fun in the process. And you're actually enjoying the little things. You no longer show up to do laundry and hate it. You're showing up, listening to podcasts. You're consuming content and information. And you use that to show up differently later in your goals and your dreams and your family life, whatever it may be. And you're having fun and you're dancing and you're enjoying life. Because here's the thing. The universe rewards those who are having fun. And you're meant to have fun. You're meant to love your life and not feel stressed and overwhelmed every step of the way. So if you're ready to find the missing key to the door that you've been pushing on for years, this is your opportunity. Book your free consultation call and we can make it happen for you. The link is waiting for you in the show notes. Okay, let's dig into how to be more successful. And like I mentioned earlier, this is not just to be successful, just to reach the goals. We're talking about successful with fulfillment. Success with fulfillment. So the first way that you can start being more successful is to create a fail plan and truly learn to be okay with failure. And what I mean by a fail plan is not just ignoring the things that we are scared of, but actually getting real with yourself and listing out all of your fears, all of the reasons that you are scared to move forward, and then creating a plan of action if that were to come true. And I know that sounds crazy, but I want you to think of it as not so much negative and not positive, but the empowering piece that when you look at each of those fears, you can then show your brain, here's what I'm going to do if this does happen. Here's what I'm going to do, worst case scenario. And you can show your brain that you're safe in the process. This is what I've come to find when I do this every single time. Most of my fears are not physical fears. They're not physical threats. They're perceived, and there's not a whole lot to lose. It comes down to I'm scared of what so-and-so is going to think. And then it's so you're going to not show up and help people, even though there's people out there wanting your help. You're not going to show up for them simply because you're afraid of what one other person might think of you. And that seems crazy to me. In those moments, I'm oh gosh. Okay, so worst case scenario, this doesn't work. And here's what I'm going to do to come back if that happens. And I'm going to come back even stronger, and I'm going to keep going. So, even though it sounds very, is the word not intuitive, counterintuitive is probably the word I'm looking for. Even though it sounds counterintuitive, this is going to help get your brain on board. Help make sure it feels safe through the process. And then the second thing that's going to help you be more successful in life is evaluating weekly. evaluating how things are going, especially when it comes to the goals that you're working on. Every week on Sunday, evaluating what worked, what didn't, and what you're going to do differently to make it better. And I got to go find the quote again. I can't remember. I pulled it up. The Albert Einstein quote. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And I think so many of us fall into this trap because we're like, oh, I'm following this program and this girl says that, this is exactly how I'm going to get results so that I can start seeing more views and follows and whatever on Instagram. And yet it's not working for you and you continue to follow through with it. And they're like, oh, well, you just need to be more consistent. And you're like, I'm showing up every day and I keep burning out, but I'm still doing it anyway. So now my brain's fried. And it's not that their program is bad. Maybe you just haven't evaluated what pieces of that program are working for you and what are not. And then allowing yourself to continue forward with what is and shifting what's not. There's no point in doing something that's not working. That's you utilizing extra energy that you could be putting towards something that does work, right? So I want to give you a really good example of, I guess I would say expanding your energy in areas that aren't working and not saving it for your family. So recently, in my current job, there is a not so fun person that I get to work with. She's very narcissistic, basically just kind of toxic. And luckily, I'm not down her chain line, so I don't have to direct to her. But the issue is that with narcissistic people, they constantly are looking for validation. And I'm one of those people who loves to validate. I love validating others because I like to see them happy. It's one of the boundaries that I've had to learn is not to validate people because it holds me back. So recently she was wanting to have a conversation with me because she felt like our relationship wasn't very close. She wanted to be closer. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we can go for a walk. I'm just thinking about it. And I was talking to my husband about it. And I'm like, it's not going to be productive. She's just going to tell me how horrible I am, how she thinks that I do things wrong. And the sad thing is that no one else feels that way except for her. And neither do I. And I would just have to essentially just either listen to her or defend myself, which I should never have to do. I never should have to validate someone else and defend myself in that kind of situation, especially in a working environment. That's just so unhealthy and super toxic. And so I was thinking about it and I'm like, okay, what's working at work? And I'm like, well, what's working is I'm setting boundaries. I'm getting things done quicker because I'm just happier. And, my work-life balance is really going well. I'm able to work on my business after work because I have energy. I'm able to show up for my family because I have the energy. What's not working is me giving my energy to a narcissist, to somebody who is a lost soul. And why would I allow that energy into my life and then come home and not be able to give fully and completely to my clients and my family? And so I had to say, I am so sorry, but I do not think that this conversation that you're wanting to have is productive for the school, for me, or my energy, especially considering that it's budget season and that is my job and I have to make sure that this is completed. And she was not happy about it. And she hasn't talked to me since because that's what narcissists do. They avoid or they, pull And if you tell them no, they either freak out or they will give you silence treatment. And I am okay with the silence treatment because I don't deserve to be treated like that. And so this week I have noticed that by not giving my energy in areas that don't need it, especially because it's not benefiting the productivity or my job or creating any movement forward for what I do, nor is it giving to myself, my family, or my clients. And so I realized through my evaluation, what's not working is giving my energy away. And by evaluating that, I had to get real with myself and say, what I'm going to do differently is I'm going to start saying no. Because saying no sometimes means saying yes to other things. And guess what? After telling her no, I manifested another client right after that. Pay in full. That is how the universe rewards you for following your intuition, your gut, and listening to what is working and what is not. So, weekly evaluations, they're beautiful and they show you exactly what you need to do. So the third thing to help you be more successful is really building your emotional resilience. Stepping into self-love and unconditional love is one of the first ways you can build that resilience. Because when you truly love yourself fully and completely and unconditionally, you're able to show up so much different. You're able to feel the emotions and allow them to process and let the negative thoughts kind of float away and follow through anyways. Just like you would your kids, right? Self-love is such a very unconditional thing, right? You see your kids show up and maybe they're struggling and they're not able to follow through, and you encourage them. That's the way we need to start showing up for ourselves. Hey, you've got this. I know this feels hard right now, but that feeling that you're feeling is you up leveling. So take a deep breath and let's keep going. Another way that you can really start to build that emotional resilience is through regulating your nervous system. These are different practices like breath work, EFT tapping, multiple areas or multiple functions that can help you let your body feel safe, right? Because when you think a thought, that thought then triggers an emotion. And if you keep holding that emotion for a long time without knowing it and not processing it or letting it go, your body learns to hold that. It learns to become unsafe. So this is like your body like tenses up, right? When something happens that maybe in the past hasn't worked for you before. And so when that happens again, right? Or maybe you experience something similar, right? Like maybe you go to post on social media and you have a family member say, well, that was weird that you said that. You tense up and then you never do it again, right? It's really learning how to regulate your nervous system and showing your body, hey, I'm safe. Like it doesn't matter what people think. We're good. We can keep moving forward. And then really just learning how to process those emotions, because so often we're holding on to the positive ones. We don't celebrate ourselves. And so that energy stays pent up. And then we get anxiety because we're not letting the excitement of our celebration moments flow through our body. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we feel those negative emotions and we hold on to them because we're afraid to feel them. And so they don't process and they stay there. And we're basically just this ball of anxiety and depression. And once you learn to move through those emotions and allow them to move through you, you can truly step into that emotional resilience. And this is something that I teach my one-on-one clients. And I love this part of the program because once they move through this and they truly fully understand it, life gets easy. Because even when hard things come up, you're able to then step into empowerment and that self-love. And like, okay, cool. Like, I'm feeling a little bit scared right now. That's okay. That's you up leveling. So just keep doing it. And you keep moving forward. And instead of being afraid of your emotions, you become so resilient. And you feel them and you let them process, and you step into what you were meant to do when you came here in the first place. Because you came here to experience human emotions and the human things in life. And if you're not fully feeling happiness and all the things that you should be celebrating yourself for, and you're not fully feeling sadness, then you're not doing what you came here for. You are meant to feel all of the things so that you can experience life. And it's such a beautiful thing. Because if you didn't know or understand how to feel sadness, you would never know happiness. So that is number 3. Then number 4, and this is the last one I have for you, is learning life skills. Like just the basic life coaching tools to help you overcome every area of life you're struggling with, so that you can become a person of your word and actually follow through. Because the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. And when you learn how to lose weight, and I'm just giving you my own example here, right? So I learned how to lose weight using these life skills. And once I learned how I did that, I'm able to now apply that into business. And yes, it doesn't look exactly the same, but there are so many themes. Because here's the thing. You yourself are super unique, and the way you do something, right? The way you lose weight, there's going to be themes in that system that aligns with who you are. Maybe you have ADHD, and the way you lost weight was learning to love yourself more, learning to have less structure around calories and macros, but instead learning to love yourself, and instead tracking and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And maybe through that process, what you learn is that you can also then apply those tools into your business or into your finances or into your marriage. One of the things that I learned in my marriage is that I have to trust and believe that my husband loves me and values me. And that is a theme for every goal in every area of my life. I have to trust and believe that I'm capable and valuable enough that people want to pay me for life coaching, that I am capable of helping them. And when I believe that, then I actually step into the energy of them wanting to work with me. But if I'm not in that energy, then I probably shouldn't be helping them. Because if I don't trust in myself, that's not fair to them. If I don't trust my husband, that's not fair to him. Same with weight loss. I have to trust myself. I had to trust myself through that process. Once I learned to trust myself, I was able to let go of the restrictive dieting and find what worked for me. And so I've been able to take that and apply it into every area of life, from my career to my business to my relationships with my kids and my mother and every area of life. Because the way you do one thing is the way you do all things, and the themes are always going to be present. So these basic coaching skills might seem very simple when I say basic coaching skill, but here's the thing. We were never taught them in school. Never in school were we taught that our thoughts trigger our emotions, and that those emotions trigger more thoughts that then trigger more emotions. And so if we want to feel better, we have to then shift our thoughts. And when we start to shift our thoughts and we start to think new things and we do it consistently and we stay disciplined with it, we create new beliefs. And those beliefs then become the operating system that our brain functions on. And so we are subconsciously moving through life with the beliefs that we need to reach our goals quicker. But as long as our beliefs are aligned with things that don't align with our goals, we're not going to do it easy. It's going to be like going on a hike with a 100-pound backpack that you don't even need in the first place. It's got a bunch of rocks in it just for the hell sake of it. And the second you let go of that backpack and you learn to start shifting those thoughts and you take it off, it gets easier. Because then of saying, oh my God, what is she going to think of me? You say, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And I hope that as I'm going through this, the people that I've been worried about what they're going to think of me get to see me as someone who's going way outside of their comfort zone. And maybe, just maybe one day, I will inspire them. And if not, that's okay, because there are people out there for me that are going to be inspired. And it's really cool when you start to learn these tools. They shift everything for you. And if you're curious what those tools look like and the step-by-step process to help you shifting your mindset and helping you release the emotions that have been pent up and start living your best life, because you absolutely deserve it, and start getting results, I'd love to offer you that free coaching call. You can book that with the link in the show notes. That's all I have for you today, beautiful. Thank you so much for tuning in. So just a quick little recap. How to be more successful. Number 1, create a FEL plan. Number 2, weekly evaluations. Number 3, building your emotional resilience. And number 4, learning the life skills, the life coaching tools. So those are the 4. I love you with my whole heart and soul. If this helped you, please share it with a friend. Please rate and review it. If you're on iTunes, or I don't think it's called iTunes, Apple Podcasts, you have to actually click on Mindset with Mary, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then rate and review it. And I know that might take time, but here's the thing. If this helped you and you rate and review it, it's going to help the podcast go to the top. And then somebody else will see it. They will know that maybe this might be a good podcast. They tune in and they get the help that they need. If you're on Spotify, I don't think there's a way that you can review it, but you can definitely rate it, give it the rating, and then comment on this episode and let me know what helped. Let me know what you liked. Okay. I love you with my whole heart and soul. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Mwah.